And we're back. Guys, I have a quick video for you today about bias and preferential treatment in the failed lockdowns that we saw throughout 2020 and that now we see in an exercise of true madness being carried into 2021. Why do I say failed lockdowns? Because if you look at the states which had the most severe lockdowns, New Jersey, New York, Michigan, these are the states that performed at the top of the worst list in COVID deaths throughout 2020. And now as we carry into 2021, I reference 2020 specifically though, because we have more, a bigger body of data to pull from the 2020 season. And we see that lockdowns don't work. Not only that, but lockdowns come at a very human cost. There's a narrative out there that if you care about reopening, and if you care about business, and you care about people's liberties, then you don't care about the life lost to COVID-19. This is absolutely false. As a matter of fact, life lost directly corresponds with economic crashes. We saw this in the Great Depression. We saw this in the 2008 stock market crash. On top of that, if that's not enough, that people are actually dying because of depression, because of economic crisis, because of putting off surgeries and hospital treatments that they needed because the hospitals are closed down with COVID, because of domestic abuse, anxiety, all of these things, as if that's not enough, then we have on top of that the UN, a very left-wing source, and I love using left-wing sources to prove a point. The UN has said that over 100 million people are expected to starve globally due to economic shutdowns. Now, I've tallied up the numbers of COVID. Every life is tragic, but I haven't seen any estimates of tallies or predictions that reach 100 million. 100 million can starve due to the economic shutdowns. How's that work? Basically, we produce enough food for us here in the States, but however, Americans, fun fact, are the most charitable people per capita in the world. And it's not just about Americans though. Europeans and other people who produce goods and foods to consumables for lower income regions of the world, for second and third world regions, all of a sudden we're not producing at the same rate. So we can supply for ourselves, but we can't export as much and we can't give as much money. We can't be as charitable because we don't have as much money. We're worrying about keeping our own lights on and paying our own rent in a cold winter. What does that mean? It means that who gets cut off there? The lowest income among us and among the world. And they starve to death. This is terrible. This should outrage you, and no one wants to talk about it because it doesn't fit the political narrative of these failed lockdowns. Speaking of political narratives, I was talking about bias and preferential treatment, specifically in the US. We have stories of strip clubs being allowed to be opened in the same regions and states where churches are either advised to be closed or outright told you can't sing in church, you can't go to church, right? You can't go to the beach, you can't celebrate Memorial Day, and yet strip clubs and casinos are open. Why is this? Well, it's for two reasons. Number one, because the radical left wants to tear apart the fabric of American society. And that means taking away your ability to be a liberty-loving individual and put a roof over your head and supply food on the table of your family. So taking away your job, closing down your job. And it means also taking away your community. Now you can't go to the beach. You can't celebrate Memorial Day. Now you can't go to church. They love taking that away from you because it gets them further down the road of what they want. They want to be your daddy. They want to be your family. The government wants to take over and give you everything that you need, and they will tell you what you need. That's reason number one. Reason number two is actually more measurable. I have videos I'm going to post in this post here of me at a casino here in Pittsburgh. Now, this casino throughout COVID was treated with preferential treatment and was allowed to stay open with capacities and allowances that were not extended to mom and pop shops. Why? Because casinos have, under tax codes and under state regulations, they have to pay and generate more revenue for the state because of all the licensing that they need to be a casino, to have the betting that goes on, to have the alcohol. All of this leads to excess licensing and excess revenue for the state, for big brother government. So why are casinos cut some slack? Why are strip clubs cut some slack? Well, because it helps them to reform our society in the way they want. And in some cases, it makes them more money. No one cares about mom and pop if they go under, but casinos, you best believe they care because that reaches into their pockets a lot deeper. That's all for now, guys. Check in next time. I'll see you later.